Sweet. We're in there. Welcome to night 2. Week 1. Already flying by. It's always like, admittedly, I can be honest with you guys, I kind of always dread this leading up to it because, it's additional responsibility for me and it's long nights. And every time I get into it after night 1, I always get so fired up and then I wish it would slow down. I was telling some people at work today, it's rare for me to be able to talk about data science and Tableau and be passionate about it, have fun with it. I'm in it every single day at work, but it's work and it's a grind and people are yelling at you and you're trying to get stuff done quick. So really, really enjoy the opportunity to be here with you guys. I have a ton of fun doing this, even if I dread it leading up to it. And week 1 already being over is crazy after tonight, only 3 more after this. So we're off to the races. I feel like we've got a really good understanding, reviewed all of your guys' homework again. The goal was just download something. Hey, how's it going, Celeste? Download something, do something, publish something, right? And you all are able to do that. So we have the foundation we need to start doing some cool stuff. Believe it or not, this is week 2, I should say night 2. Night 2 is my favorite night of the whole curriculum that I put together. It really, if night 1 is laying the foundation of how to use Tableau, night 2 lays the foundation of how to build charts. And that is what this whole class is. And so everything that we learned tonight, we'll just continue to build on and do more and more advanced stuff, make it look prettier and prettier, connect different things together, do fancier things. But the element and the foundations that we learn tonight will allow us to go and do those other things kind of moving forward here. So give me 1 second to update attendance stuff. So it's here now.
कैमरा में आपको देख
Okay, I'll have to remember 6:04 is the appropriate start time next time. Cool. So this will kind of be the overview for tonight.
Did you hit record?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much, though. Better safe than sorry. I kind of talked about this at a high level week 1, but we'll kick off with storytelling. So be thinking about if you want to volunteer. Again, the homework just gets harder, so a good one to knock out is always night 1. But I'll ask for probably only 3 people tonight since it was just kind of night 1. But moving forward, we'll do 4 or 5 every night. I'll give a quick little overview of kind of what we're going to cover. We'll break for 10 minutes. We'll do a lessons hand-on again, so everyone will pull up Tableau. Tonight we're going to be covering the bar chart, the line chart, and the scatter plot, kind of the big 3 or the holy trinity, whatever you want to call it, for data visualization. We'll break again, and then again, the last hour is just going to be replicating what we learned about in class using your own data sets, either the one you found last night, or if you want to find a different one, we'll kind of go through that same process. So, any questions, comments, concerns before we kick things off?
So I don't yet have my computer is on order, but I recognized what you were doing last night, and I can watch the YouTube videos, and I do want to check it out.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Cool. And we have one new person, and I'm probably going to butcher your name. I apologize. But S4, you joined for the first night here?
Yeah, this is my first time.
Perfect. How did I do on the name?
You said what?
Did I pronounce your name right? S4?
S4.
S4. Okay. Cool. Well, awesome to have you. We will let me know if you have any questions, and if you need any help catching up with anything from night 1, feel free. We can connect after this. But super excited.
Yeah. I watched the video from on Monday, so yeah.
You're good to go then.
Yes, sir.
All right. Volunteer time. I'm going to make 2 people in person and 2 people remote, if you guys don't mind. Who wants to go first? Right here. Sweet. I will pull.
Send it to you.
Yep. I will pull up your link.
second. Slack open for the first time in my life.
Cool. So really, all you need to do is just talk a little bit about your data set, where you found it would be good, and helpful for other people, and then just high-level overview of what we're looking for here. Doesn't need to be longer than 2 minutes.
I'm working with my students on humanitarian data, so data from all over the world. So data.humdata.org, where we find it. So this is the consumer price index of food in Canada over the years. So it's years over the value of the consumer price index. And then just for fun, I put the months, so the different color lines of the months. So you can see some of the years where it changed within the year. So not just that, they can actually big changes. So in the 2000s and maybe 2008, 2020, you can see the big difference between the months. So just a line chart, otherwise.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, one more in person. Okay, right there. Cool. All you.
So this is a representation of overall revenue by trucks. This data I pulled from a client booking site that I use. I created my own products, Airbnb for semi-trucks. I match empty parking lots with semi-truckers looking for a spot. I'm using a third-party software. I'm kind of a middleman of it all. So I use my own proprietary data. It's still a proof of concept POC. So this is basically all the data. So basically it's parsing out trucks with trailers, just a trailer being dropped off, and the type of trailer, and I threw in even the truck make there. In that big blue blob, that's the total. I'm not sure why they put null in there. So in retrospect, looking at it now, I should take the blue out. That's it. I just used my own data set. It was an export in Excel, and I just used a simple graph there.
Cool. Love it. I think night 4, we'll talk through creating our own live data sets. And I'll ask you all to make a little tracker or project or something like that and see it update real time, which is always really cool. But definitely as we're going through these things, don't feel the need to go out and find data. If you want to make your own data set, I've had people use their Garmin watch before and write down all their steps and then visualize that. I've had people that have built a budget and use that as well too. So if you're not getting inspired by any of the data sets you're seeing out online, feel free to just make your own. You can be fake data too. It doesn't really matter. But cool, I love that you found the opportunity to bring in something that you've actually built before and visualized inside the template. All right. Someone online, someone virtually who wants to volunteer. Hamza?
I can volunteer. Instead of being awkwardly called upon, I would prefer to volunteer, so I'm more prepared.
Perfect.
So nonprofit space, I kind of followed what you just said. I created kind of a sample data set.
Sorry, pause for a second. Did you send me the link to yours?
I have not. So I've got a Mac. The Mac I'm using doesn't have CPR downloaded, I think, or something. So I will send you more. I'll send it after, but I'm just gonna talk about it real quick.
Okay.
It's just a kind of a sample donor set. So we've got donor ID, donor name, the date, the amount, type. So ideally, I want to build a real life example of hey, this is a nonprofit that is doing increased capacity, so we need to see where our donor retention is, or what's the best for making that program and impact data to use. So that's kind of what I've been using. I'll send that to you.
Okay. Cool. I like it.
Pretty straightforward.
All right. one more person virtually, if you don't mind. Maria.
Do you have to share the work that I did?
I think you sent me yours, so give me 1 second. I will pull it up so you can talk through it. All right, feel free.
So the data that I used was from the Tableau public sample data, and I used the global sport finances. That was a very basic chart, and I did a couple of new additions to that. And after after that, I organized it from the sport that earns the most to the least, and then just colors and stuff. But
Cool.
that's about it.
I like it. Perfect. All right, this is good practice reps for us all as we continue to go on and on throughout this course. The things we're learning about will get more complex. You guys will get more skills building stuff out. You'll find data sets that you're more interested in. You'll just build on top of each other. So moving forward, we'll do some more volunteers. We'll have people talk for 4 or 5 minutes and ask questions and things like that. But for the sake of night one and just publishing literally anything, that was a perfect job to kick things off. So thank you for brave volunteers kicking us off night one. We will get into, we're 17 minutes ahead of schedule already. Let's go. Get home nice and early. So Matt, I was actually talking to you a little bit about this last week. While this is a data visualization course, data is very complicated, and a lot of the stuff that we're presenting is very complicated, and so it is our job as kind of data stewards to make it as easy to present and as easy to follow along as possible. And there's actually a lot of UX principles that people use for web design and navigating complex websites that we can use for data visualizations as well too. So I will go through, I think I have 3 that I think really pertain to data viz to kick things off tonight for our overview section. And then we'll get into how to actually build these different chart types using some of these UX, which stands for user usability, user experience. We'll go through how to actually apply those to data viz so we can properly present really complex charts in a really straightforward way. If we have time at the end, we'll go through some tooltips, which are the little things that pop up when you hover over your chart, and some real simple basics on dashboard design, just so you guys kind of understand how they work a little bit more than we covered in night 1, in case you want to start doing some of that. We have an entire night, I think night 7, which is all about just building dashboards, but we'll go through some of the basics tonight if we have time. So last week we spent the entire class going wide, right? We touched on pretty much everything that you can do in Tableau for like 2 seconds so you understand where it lives. Tonight we're going to be zooming in and going incredibly deep into 3 basic chart types. So we're going to get really good at bar charts, line charts, and scatter plots. I would say about 90% of my time in Tableau is building one of these charts. Is spent building one of these charts. You've seen Tableau Public people build really cool things. There are amazing data visualization specialists out there that can do sweet stuff. That's not what drives value for your company or yourself or gets you promoted. People like basic things that they didn't understand. So that's what we're going to start with. The good news is that these chart types and the understanding that we'll learn tonight building them is directly applicable to everything else that you'll do in Tableau. Once we build the charts, about 90% of that time is spent making sure these charts look good. So that's the things that I just covered. The reason that you would need it really easy to understand and straightforward is because that's what's going to resonate the most with the people that you're presenting to. So we're going to learn how to build them. We're going to learn how to make them look good. And I truly do believe, I've said this multiple times, it's my favorite night of this curriculum. It's definitely the most impactful night. I truly think if you just took week 1 and week 2 of this course, you'd be able to go out and get a job doing Tableau stuff. The rest is all just, nice to have to kind of differentiate yourself as a Tableau kind of entry-level person to an expert. So that would be good, I promise. All right, so I put together this PowerPoint. I stole a ton of stuff. I want to give a couple shout outs here. Has anyone ever heard of Edward Tufte before? Okay, you have?
Yes.
Sweet. He is like the grandfather of data visualization. So he wrote this book, The Visual Display of Quantitative Information, back before computers and definitely before Tableau was a thing. So the entire book that he wrote was how to take raw data that you're writing down and literally chart out different line charts, bar charts, things like that to display it. I actually have a copy of that book. I'll bring it in sometime. Really, really good. So most of what we do when it comes to data visualization, from like a principle standpoint, go all the way back to Edward Tufte, which is sweet. And then I'm a huge Medium guy. Medium has a little like branch called Towards Data Science, which is just all about data science stuff. I follow a ton of people on there. Mala Deep is one of my favorite people I follow that does a ton of data science and visualization stuff. He basically took all of Edward Tufte's information and condensed it into Tableau terms, and that's what I built this entire presentation about. So if you're a hard copy person or a historian or would find an old book about charting out graphs interesting, I buy the Edward Tufte book. It's great. If you're a visual medium person, you like blogs, Mala Deep is great. I am not great, but they are, and that's where I got everything from this course. So had to get the shout out there.
Was that his chart on there? I couldn't really see it. Yeah, below it.
Yeah,
His chart.
that's the cover of the book there. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, if you're free, feel free to do some Googling after this. There's some great stuff. All right, so when it comes to data viz, we briefly touched on this before, but there's kind of two specific use cases for it. The first is exploratory data analysis. So I call that EDA. That is someone goes and asks you a question. I use Tableau, or we will use Tableau to learn for ourselves, right? We can drag, if we want to understand what Canadian CPI is looking like, someone's asking what months are the most valuable or vulnerable, we would go in and build Tableau and understand that for ourselves. That's how we would learn. EDA, exploratory data analysis. People ask questions, we answer it. That's just kind of between, it says designer here again, because these are a lot of UX principles, but between the data scientist and the data. You guys are communicating. Doesn't matter if it works good as long as you can consume the knowledge that you're learning and properly articulate that out. The second use case for data, or for Tableau or data viz, right, is for an audience. So data visualization is a conversation between the data and the audience through you. So that is what this course and a lot of what you would do in industry is really important. Again, is to making sure that conversation of what you're learning of the data is properly articulated back to the audience there. So this will be primarily focused, this entire course will be on the second one of that, making sure that our data viz looks really good. But obviously everything that we're learning around how to use Tableau and drag and drop and forecast and group different things, segment different things out, filter it, that could also be used for the exploratory data analysis. That part just doesn't need to look good, right? All right, 3 rules for promotion-worthy data viz. I coined that term. I don't think, I'd maybe say I'm a good data visualization person. I'm definitely not an expert one though, but I am promotion-worthy data viz. I am very good at presenting stuff out to people in ways that connect with them. But I'll never be someone that can make the stuff that you see on Tableau Public here. So I just wanted to call that out. If that's what you're looking for, that'll not be the course. But there are some really, really good stuff that we'll learn tonight. So in kind of order of importance here, the 3 things that we're going to cover is the data ink ratio, chart junk, and 1 + 1 = 3 will be kind of that high level concepts that we'll cover tonight, and then see in practice as we start building out those visualizations.
Data to ink is less is more.
I'll go through each one of them.
Okay.
But yeah. So data ink. Then this is from our guy Edward Tufte. Sick quote. Above all else, show the data. I agree, Ed. So he defines the data ink ratio as the non-erasable core of the graphic. Or in other words, the data ink ratio is the proportion of ink, i.e. pixels, that make up data information on that view. I love that Tufte back in the day said non-erasable because he was drawing them out. Now we call it pixels because we're doing it on computers. But basically, and we'll go through some examples here. Anything, any ink or any pixel that's on your screen that isn't showing data, isn't trying to show what you're trying to show, should get rid of. It's the more ink that you have on there, the worse. The more data you have on there, the better. So the ratio, you want the most data with the least amount of ink is a good way to think about that. So I'm going to show an example here. This is showing penguins and body mass by some different types of penguins here. So what would be some ink on this chart that we think that we could get rid of?
The legend, maybe?
Keep thinking. Okay, explain. Keep going. Legend, yeah.
Legend, because we already have annotated the diagram there.
Exactly. So we have I've taught this course 5 times and I still don't know how to pronounce these. We have the Adelie penguin, the Gentoo penguin, and the chinstrap penguin, right? It says it right underneath the bars. And then we have another legend here that says those same words again. So we could either get rid of the labels or we could get rid of the key over the right there. Yep. What else?
The species on top.
Background. Oh, sorry. Real quick, I think Anza, you were talking. But yes, the background already is in gray. Why? Maybe if you're trying to build something for a specific company and their brand colors with something, you match it up there to make it look good. But yeah, stick with white 99.9% of the time. All right, someone online is saying something. What else? There's some more stuff in here.
Colors.
The colors. Yeah. I think
this is a purpose for them, but they all the same.
Exactly. So that kind of goes in the same vein as the legend here, right? We know that these are different things because we have the labels here that they're different things. So why are they also different colors here? Maybe if we wanted to highlight one of them, we could do that. Or right, if we didn't have the labels and just had the legend, we need the colors to show which one is which. But how it exists today, the colors aren't necessary. They don't let you know anything about it. In fact, they maybe make it a little more confusing because you're looking at blue and you're seeing that's the Gentoo, and then you're going up, you're matching blues and also the Gentoo. There's a couple more. These are maybe 3 more that are a little harder to see.
The spacing between them is hard to trace when they're spaced so far on the horizontal plane.
Spacing, yeah. For data ink, you can probably bring it a little bit closer together. What else?
The parentheses and the G.
Yeah, parentheses around the G. S4, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Perfect. Yep. So we have penguin and body mass in grams. And then over on the label here, it also says again, body mass in grams. So I already know that we're showing body mass in grams. We definitely don't need that duplicated multiple times. There's maybe one more word on here that no one said yet. Species, yep. We got species right here. We got species right there. Even if neither of those, definitely only need one, but I could already get away with 0 because you can already tell these are different types of penguins, right? So why would we need to see species there? All right, I think that's about it. So let's see what a different version of this could look like. This has high data ink ratio. So every piece of ink on this chart here is showing something about the data. So I guess one thing that we didn't talk about is they also got rid of the axis labels here, there's a use case for it. I'm typically a fan of doing it how they did it here when you're trying to show precise numbers, so you don't have to try to match up. Okay, this one's about halfway between 45 and 50. This is 46, 47, I'm sure. So they got rid of the axis. They got rid of the colors. And since they got rid of the axis, we already have that it's showing body mass right here, so we know what the axis was showing. You just went ahead and put grams right beside each one of those. Maybe you could have got rid of that, but it's 55 grams, 47 grams, 43 grams. We already know that in the title, it's showing penguin species, so they don't need to show species anywhere. I guess another thing we didn't say is the word penguin was also multiplied 6 times on here. So it just has, we already know these are showing penguin species, right? So the Adelie, the Gentoo, the Chinstrap, those are all right there. They had some bolding in there. Yeah, there are different font types in there. The other thing we didn't show is the grid line, right? We got rid of the y-axis here. We no longer needed those grid lines across the horizontal plane there. I think that's it. So this is kind of a trivial example. All of us can go and look at this and figure out what it's showing relatively quickly there. But this is a super easy example, right? We just have 3 different types of penguins on here as a bar chart. Is pretty straightforward. But we definitely look at this one and understood it quicker. And it just kind of compounds. So as we're showing more and more, we have 5 or 6 different charts on one singular dashboard. As we're showing months over month and year over year, if we're showing forecasting on top of that, we're going to build in this class some really complex stuff. And it compounds on top of each other. It makes it really hard for people to understand quickly, unless we follow along with the data ink ratio. And I will show you again during our hands-on time in practice what this looks like inside of Tableau. Any questions, concerns on the data ink? Cool. Some head nods. All right. Up next, chart junk. This kind of follows along with the data ink ratio, but I wanted to call it out specifically because it's my biggest pet peeve when it comes to data viz. People like to get really, really cute. Like the Weather Channel and the news is kind of notoriously bad for tossing in chart junk on their visualizations, which always bugs me. But another great quote from our guy Ed, kill the frills and get to the point. I just picture Ed in my mind as being a very cranky old man. So chart junk is the excessive and unnecessary use of graphical effects in charts. So we'll stick with our penguin example here. What is the chart junk on here? Picture the penguin. Yep. And then we also have pretty low data ink ratio with a lot of the repeated names and things like that. Again, a more clean view of this. Get rid of the chart junk. Clean up the data ink ratio. And it's a much more straightforward view there. So that one again, really simple, but it's my biggest pet peeve, so I had to call it out. Then the last one, 1 + 1 = 3. So what this is getting at, and I actually typed this same slide 2 different ways. We'll show the examples here. But white space. White space, is anyone heard that term before? No. Okay, so white space is essentially the gaps between your different elements on your chart. So white space would be right here between these 2 bars. On this slide, for instance, it would be the line underneath my 2 different bullet points. It is a really, really useful element. If you get stuff too convoluted and compacted together, it's difficult to read. White space improves the readability, ensures that our graphics text are clearer and legible. Fun fact, effective use of white space has been shown to improve content comprehension by up to 20%. White space helps the reader understand the content better by creating a sense of order and flow between graphic elements. So if these were all like cluttered together, you wouldn't really know which one to look like. You can very easily kind of go left to right throughout. You look at the chart, that's very clearly at the top, then you have white space between, or you look at the title, very clearly at the top, you have white space underneath, then you move down to the bars, then you move down to the labels between each one of those. And it's one of the creative tools, helping them more effectively convey a message and much more. So, real simple example of white space being a really effective tool. The only difference between these 2 slides is I added some additional white space between my first bullet point and the rest. Seems simple, but now this easily conveys the main point of this slide, right? 1 + 1 = 3. White space is an element, use it. Then my bullet points will have white space. Whereas before, this main point of the entire slide kind of blends in with the rest of the bullet points here. So in practice, in a chart, one of my favorite things to show to communicate the effectiveness of white space is tables. Tables, believe it or not, is a type of data visualization. You're visualizing data in the list of a table. This was an example from the very first class I ever taught. But here are two different tables. Both of them are built inside of Excel, just first name, last name, and then the list of the people that were taking the course. Again, you got your column headers up here. You got your row labels right there. You got the, I'd say the most important thing is the individual grid lines between each row and each name in there. Those are just super unnecessary. They convolute everything. You can't really tell what you're trying to look at here. White space, get rid of all that. Two columns, first name, last name, and a list of names right there, a lot cleaner. All right, we're making great time here. Any questions on white space specifically?
And that's in general, it doesn't have to be specifically white, right? Like
Correct.
cream, whatever, you know.
Yeah, just using blank spaces as opposed to lines, and using blank spaces to space things out and dictate the flow of.
The reason I mentioned it is because I've been slammed by designers for using white background on slides versus adding.
Designers are terrifying. They're the scariest people in the entire world. I want to find. I thought I had some more examples in here. But again, this is a lot of really simple examples to prove my point here. A lot of this is stolen from web design, which I think is a one-to-one kind of direct application to data viz. But I wanted to go through the high-level concepts before we actually start building these things out inside Tableau. Here's another example of white space. This is a mistake I see people make all the time, is they think they need to box in all their charts. You already have your labels on there. People understand that it's the box. You don't need to have those in there. I think we're good to go ahead and jump in since we're running a little ahead of time. This is what we're going to do tonight specifically, is we're going to build out this view right here to go through the high-level concepts of line charts, bar charts, and scatter plots. And then we are going to take a break. And then we're going to come back. And we are going to transform it into this view, which is the exact same data, but much cleaner. It tells a very effective story. If you looked at this, you would have no idea where to even start. It would take you a long time to consume this. What am I showing? What are these? What is that? How much is coming from each region? We'll talk through it all here in a bit. But that will kind of be our goal for the rest of the night. So let me Command Z this. Normally we would take a break right now, but since we're ahead of schedule, let's keep going. So everyone pull up Tableau Public. I opened up the wrong Tableau. Give me 1 second. All right. Once you guys have it open, we're going to continue to use the Superstore data that we downloaded night 1. So remember to connect to that. You will go over here where it says connect to a file and click on Microsoft Excel. And then mine is in my downloads. I'm guessing that's where a majority of your guys' is. But double click into Sample Superstore. And it should pop up our data source, which we learned about night 1 as well too. We're going to drag orders over. And then click into sheet 1. Everyone with me so far? Nods?
Hey, I'm having trouble here. I'm trying to log into my Tableau. So
Okay. Have you logged into it before?
yeah, I created an account yesterday.
Okay. Cool. Is it just like it's opening and you're not able to, like, it's not accepting the username and password, or what's it saying?
Yeah, the password. I'm trying to
Okay.
reset it here.
Sorry, what was that?
I said I'm trying to reset it. I'm trying to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you, we can wait a couple minutes if you just want to let us know.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Where'd you get the file from again?
We downloaded it night 1. Mine is in my downloads. But if you saved it somewhere else, you may need to go get it again. I will drop the link. If you can't find it, you can just re-download it.
Sorry, are we working with orders? Is that what you?
Yep, correct.
Okay.
Cool. So it's the sample store data. If you need to download it again, it's just the very first one right here. I'll drop it in the Slack channel if you need it.
Oh yeah, I have it.
Perfect. And then, yeah, we are, for right now, we'll talk through how to join up some of these in a later class, but Orders has everything we need. So we'll just be working with that one for tonight.
Can you show how it shows sheet 1? I have the orders up, but it's not showing the sheet 1. So I don't know if you could repeat the step you just did.
Yeah, all you should need to do is just click into, in the bottom left here, it should say sheet 1. You just need to click into that.
I'm clicking on it, it's not doing it. It took a while, it's slow.
Oh, you got it. Cool. S4, were you able to get logged in?
Not yet.
Maybe.
I said not yet. It's
Oh.
yeah.
Okay. I will.
I don't see the code that they say they send it to me on my email. So
Gotcha. I'm going to just go through a couple examples. We're going to take a break here in about 10 minutes anyways. So during that time, we can share screens or whatever. I can see if I can help you out. Does that sound all right?
yeah, that's all. Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Okay. Let me open this up so I can remember what we're doing. Technology office supplies. Okay. So we are going to start with order date. We're going to build these line charts first. We're going to build 3 different line charts. The first one is going to be furniture sales over time. So we're going to take order date right here and drag it up to our columns. Now from there, you can see that automatically it groups it by year. So we have 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. If you ever want a different level of kind of visibility in there, if you click this right arrow, if you hover over where it says year order date and click that right arrow, you can see that it has a few different options here, right? Right now it's selected on year, but then you can also go by quarter, by month, or by day. And then down below, it kind of has those combined together. So this has just year again, right? So those would be the same, but this has quarter and year, month and year, week and year, and day and year. Let's go ahead and click into the second one that says month, the one that says May 2015. So we have month and year.
Hey,
So it should look
are you doing something on your screen? Because it's not showing anything. It's just showing just sheet one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's unless it's just the screen. There's like you're just hovering over automatic.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me stop sharing and go again. This has actually happened to me before in the past. Sometimes StreamYard freezes my screen. How about now? Thanks for calling that out. Do you see my mouse now?
Yes, because I was like, you're saying something, but I don't see the screen change.
Yeah. So all I did to get to this point is drag order date over from our dimensions onto our columns, and then click this right arrow and choose the month. And it's the second month, the one that says May 2015. So we get our month and our year.
Okay, perfect. Now it's showing. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Now, super simple part 2. We are just going to drag sales to our rows. And voila, we have our first line chart. Everyone get that so far? Good? Are you guys good? Okay, now the last thing, well, I have a really bad habit of saying the last thing we're going to do. We have so many more things to do. The next thing we're going to do is, right, we wanted to just show furniture sales. So category is where it tells us what type of the sales we're dealing with. Let's drag category over to filters. And you should get this little pop-up that says furniture, office supplies, technology. Let's go ahead and just click on furniture and click OK. Your chart should adjust. And we are done with our first bad example. Remember, we're going to build the bad examples first and then make them look pretty. So what I like to do for each one of these, see how it says sheet 1 here, sheet 1 here. You right click into the bottom where it says sheet 1. You can choose rename. And let's call this furniture sales over time, something like that. Does everyone have this so far?
Can you show the row again to get the sales? It's coming up red on mine for some reason.
Yeah, all I did was take sales from over here near measures and drag it up onto the rows.
Okay, I think it will work now.
Okay, cool. And then all you need to do after that is drag category over to your filters.
Perfect.
And select furniture. Cool. All right. We're going to reps is the name of the game here. We're going to create a new worksheet and do pretty much everything again, just slightly different because the next one we're going to build is technology sales. So again, we're going to go order date onto our columns. We're going to click the drop down and do month and year. Then we're going to drag sales onto our rows. And then again, category on the filters and choose office supplies.
Order date and then monthly?
Yep, order date, and it's the second one, the one that has month and year. And then again, we will rename this, so right click into sheet 2 and type office supply sales over time.
So month, order date, and for the rows, it is
Sum of sales.
Excuse me, sorry. Can you just click on the drop down, the column drop down again on month and year?
Yeah.
Did you? Oh, okay. You chose month. Okay, 2015. All right, that's what I was looking for.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. It's kind of confusing because on the left in bold it has quarter or year, quarter, month, day, and then again
Yeah.
it has year, quarter, month, day. The only difference between the top section here is that it's showing just the year, just the quarter, just
Quarters.
the month, whereas the bottom one brings in the next level up as well too. So just the year, quarter and year, month and year, week and year, day and year.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for explaining the difference. I was gonna get to it. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Does everyone have this? That's good. Good. Some head nods online. Thank you. All right. The third one, I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to see if you can do by yourself. We're going to do it exactly the same, except this one needs to be technology sales over time. So I'll give you guys 1 or 2 minutes. Everything is going to be exactly the same, so feel free to click back into your previous tabs.
What are we titling the third sheet again?
Technology sales over time. All right, thumbs up. Do you guys have it? Good. Just to recap, or people don't have it yet, order date on the columns, month and year, sales on the rows, category on the filter, technology. Okay. And voila, we now have our furniture sales over time, our office supply sales over time, and our technology sales over time. Now again, we are building out the ugly versions first, and we have this top half done. We have the bar chart and the scatter plot to go. But let's take a quick break and just drop them into a dashboard. So again, the first tab over here is the new worksheet, which is what we've been doing. Now we're going to click into new dashboard.
Excuse
Now-
me, I think your screen froze again.
Thank you very much. I do remember this from the last semester I taught. It does this occasionally, and it infuriates me to no end. So thank you for calling it out. All right, see my mouse now?
Yes, thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, like I said, we have an entire night dedicated to just dashboard design. So I'm just going to give you dashboard 101 right now. The first thing that you kind of want to choose is a size here. You can see it's kind of tough to see. Let's turn those lights off again. Give me 1 second.
Sorry, can you go back one step to where you get the dashboard tab? I know that
Too
might
dark. Are you guys gonna fall asleep?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, what was that? I was turning off the lights.
You're totally fine. Can you go back one more step because your screen was frozen on the dashboard tab?
Yep, for sure. Right, the first tab right here is just a new worksheet. That's what we've been building out. The next one is new dashboard. So just click that middle tab there. It still didn't super help, but I guess you guys all have this up on your computer as well too. Now see how there's like kind of a white space right here and then kind of gray on the side. By default, that's the size of the dashboard that we have to work with. If you click into size here, where it says range, it gives you 3 options: fixed size, automatic, which is going to fill your entire screen, and range, which is what it started on there, which allows you to give a minimum and a maximum range. Automatic, I used to love. It's kind of nice because wherever you're working, it'll be as big as it can possibly be. I ran into some issues with automatic before where I'll build stuff on my desktop and then someone will go to open it up on a tablet and it looks really bad. Or there's also a Tableau app on your phone that looks really bad. There's actually a way to build different layouts depending on what device people are on. But that's Tableau like 501, so we're not going to talk about that. So what I typically do 90% of the time is I do fixed size, and then it gives you a secondary drop down here where it gives you like generic desktop browser, full screen, laptop browser, a few different things like that. I just click into generic desktop. What this will do then is if someone opens it up on a tablet, it won't go to the size of the tablet. It will still be the size of a desktop, and they can scroll around and see the entire thing. So all your proportions and layouts and everything looks exactly the same. They just need to scroll to see it. So that way it gives you a fixed size to build stuff on. It works for a majority of the people that are going to be building your things, and you don't have to worry about stuff moving around and looking differently when you publish it. From there, building dashboards is like super easy and super annoying at the same time because it's all drag and drop. So when you drag something over here, your very first one, you can see it highlights gray. That will show you where this sheet will populate in your dashboard. So the first one doesn't matter, you just drop it in there. We have furniture sales over time. Your next one, office supplies, if you drag that over, don't let go of it yet. As you kind of hover around, when it's on the left, see how Tableau gives you this gray screen. It's saying, okay, if you drop it right there, it'll be on the left. What you currently have will be on the right. If you hover to the top, you see it highlights gray there. If you hover to the right, it'll be gray there. Bottom will be gray there. So we're going to go ahead and just drop it on the bottom. And then as you add more and more stuff, so like right now it seems easy, right? But it's also annoying because you add more and more stuff. You can kind of hover in the top left and it'll split just the top one, right? You can go to the top of the top, you go to the right of the top, you can go to the top of the bottom, bottom of the bottom, left of the bottom, right. Let's just go ahead and hover right in the middle here, and it'll do kind of the top of the bottom and the, bottom of the top of the bottom, whatever, you get what I'm saying. It doesn't really matter for the sake of this, right? You can drag it wherever. We're just building an ugly dashboard. And once you drop them, Tableau will automatically kind of space them evenly. But if you ever want to change it, you can just hover over in between where they two meet up, and you move stuff around. You can also click into one, and it gives you this little tab right here where you can drag stuff around all over again. Again, the more and more reps we get, the easier dashboard design kind of gets.
Let's say build, if I'm using, going back to my example, is truck sales.
Yeah.
If they fluctuate, once I build the dashboard, I can reinsert, refresh the data and it will populate, right?
Yep. That'll be night 4.
What's that?
We'll cover that night 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jumping the gun.
Jump the gun a little bit. The question was, if once you build the dashboard, if you update the data, will the dashboard refresh? The short answer is yes, depending on where your data source lives. So if you just build an Excel, which is saved on your local desktop, right, and then published to Tableau Public, it doesn't ship that Excel with it. Well, it does ship that Excel with it, but it doesn't connect back to your local version anymore. It's just whatever you build. So if you update the local version, it doesn't connect. But you can build it out in like Google Sheets or Google Drive or something that's hosted online. And then that, as you update, since it's already in the cloud, they can pull in directly. So that's what we'll do I think it's night 4. We'll do it here in a couple of weeks. We'll build out our own data set in, I think we use Google Sheets, and update it live real time in Tableau Public. It's super cool. And then obviously if you're using like Tableau Server or an enterprise version of it, you can connect it directly to Google BigQuery or SQL Server or in your like backend production data warehouses. All right, does everyone have what I currently have on my screen? Cool. Let's take a 8-minute break and come back at 7:05 p.m. CST.
Somebody was standing there, like a little early. Yeah, we came a little early.
Did you try the code?
Yeah,
And it didn't work?
The code still doesn't work.
Okay, I'm gonna message Crystal right now.
For any of us, yeah. Yeah, I guess like that's what we can actually be here earlier. Yeah, it's no problem.
You can also, I'm here at 5:30, so you can always just Slack me and I can let you in.
Okay.
But I'm gonna message Crystal about that code.
It's Slack. It's like just, do you have Slack over your phone?
I thought of getting here earlier too, but it just hasn't been there. Well, I hear you. All of us like somebody let us in.
Yeah, I was lucky both days. There was just somebody doing some at the door doing things. People are really nice here.
Yeah, so the same thing, the lady was coming out, so she doesn't call me.
But even if you were here 5 minutes early, there would be nobody out there. So it's not,
I'm here for 4, and she came out like 5:59, so I got there like an hour. But I do want to get.
She did change. I didn't see where it changed. I can let you borrow my laptop later on.
I have actually done things like this, so this is not too foreign to me.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I still have to.
No worries, though. So I can set up a data that set on my NAS, like a MySQL or something, and it will feed into my NAS and go make a bunch of business data, refresh the data, and use that as a source.
Yeah, I think. Let me see what Tableau Public can connect to. May need to get a different, like install a different connector, depending on where your data is hosted. I'm not 100% for sure. I've never done it in Tableau Public before, but like, I'll pull up my Tableau desktop that I use at work real quick. Like here, you can see it has like every server known to man that you can connect to in there. So I'm sure wherever your OneDrive, Oracle, SQL, Snowflake, DBT, anything that lives out there you can connect to.
They're just using us with the free version.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Get us some Dixit.
Yeah.
Software.
Yeah, classic.
Microbricks is in this class. It seems like it gets warmer. Is it just me? You gonna get that?
A little bit. I think it's the longer you stay in here, yes.
We were just talking about that. It seems like as the night progresses, like
It gets
to me,
hotter.
it gets hard.
Yeah, I'm never hot, like, I'm always like, I'm always cold.
It's so hot here. And I was an idiot and like didn't wear a shirt under my sweatshirt today, so I'm just stuck with it.
And maybe the HVAC is set up that after hours. It's so
Oh, really?
I don't know, like a lot of places.
I used to work for the state. They used to turn off their AC and their heat on the weekends to save money. So like we go like in the winters, Monday and Tuesday were like an ice cube,
Yeah,
and then it would get hot, and then just cycle over.
yeah. They like overcorrect and scissors.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how our building is too. Our building also used to be like a college of some type, the headquarters that we're in currently. And so it has since been like turned into like very like techie open space, like no offices type thing. But all the like heating and air was set up for classrooms. And so like you could walk across the floor and like be super cold in one specific area where it's pumping out like AC and like really hot somewhere else. It is my least favorite thing in the world.
I wonder what it would feel like to stay in the middle of it.
Yeah, we need like some fans or something like moving all the air around. All right, let's go ahead and jump back in. Next hour here, next like 10, 20 minutes, we'll build a couple more ugly examples, right? We'll get our bar chart and our scatter plot, and then we'll make it all pretty. So, let me double check. Top category is sales regions. Okay, sales products. All right, so we have our line charts. In our dashboard, we have our 3 different sheets. Let's go ahead and create a new sheet, right? This first tab right here. Region and categories. Okay, let's bring region up onto our columns. So we should have central, east, south, and west like this. Let's bring sales onto our rows. So voila, we got a pretty bar chart here. Looks like our west region has the most sales, south is lagging behind a little bit. But again, the goal of our dashboard is going to be showing different categories. So let's bring category, and this is a new thing that we haven't done before, but we talked about it week 1. Drag category onto color here. So now we have region across our columns here, our sales across our rows here, and then each one of these, this is called a stacked bar chart, where we have the total sales at the very top, and then each one of these would show the individual sales for our categories. Does everyone have this?
Just double checking the drag category to colors, you said?
Cool.
I don't. I kind of
Nope.
spaced out.
Okay, all good.
How did you get? What's the third step?
Category over your color.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think your screen might be frozen again.
Thank you. Everyone that tells me my screen's frozen gets a bonus point tonight. So thank you.
Oh, yeah.
All right. The last one here is we are going to build the scatter plot. So let's retitle this one. So again, right click into sheet 4, rename, and let's call this top categories by region. All right, last one, new worksheet. And again, this is scatter plot, so it's a little different than what we've done before, where we've typically drug a dimension up here first. Here, we're actually going to drag 2 measures. So let's bring sales up to columns. Let's bring profit onto rows. And voila, we have the boringest scatter plot of all time. But before we make it complicated, let's discuss what's happening here. So we have on our y-axis across our rows the sum of profit, right? So our one little dot right here is up at about 280K in profit. And then across our x-axis sales are columns, right? So we're going across our columns here. You can see that our tiny little dot is about 2.3 million right here. So this is actually a scatter plot, just a very boring one, but it's made up of 2 measures, which we've never done before. We've always had a dimension and measure, right? So it's not grouping by anything. Where here, it's grouping by region, right? It's grouping by category. This has 2 dimensions, 2D, right? It's by region, by category. This has 0 dimensions. So it's not grouping by anything other than itself. It's 1 dot, profit and sales. If we want to make it scattered, we'll bring category. Let's go ahead and bring category onto colors again. So now we have 3 different points on here. Now we have a dimension. We have something to group by. So it's grouping by our category. And for each category, it's summing sales and it's summing profit. So here's a category, furniture, where across our columns is just our sum of sales. And across our rows is just the sum of profit. Grouping by category, 18,000 in profit, 742,000 in sales. Here's another one that's grouping by office supplies. Another one is grouping by technology. So again, we got that. If you missed a step, by dragging sales onto our column, profit onto our rows, category onto our color.
So what's a scatter plot? Because it's 2 measurables. Is that one? Okay.
Yep, exactly. The scatter plots are I think they actually do a really good job for the first time showing the differences between measures and dimensions and how you can group by stuff outside of columns and rows. Typically, we would group by a column or group by a row. Here, where our rows and our columns are just our axes, and we're grouping by a color. And so it's plotting it across the columns and rows, which are our measures, wherever it exists in those sums. Any questions on the theory behind the theory behind scatter plots? Okay, we'll build about 20 more throughout this course, and everyone has what I currently have up here. Cool. Now let's rename this one. Most profitable categories. All right, now let's click back into our dashboard one and put this all together and then tear it apart. Let's. All right, so let's take our bar chart and drag it all the way to the bottom here. You see everything's all out of source now. So just scoot all these up a little bit.
Why can't AI do that for us?
Exactly. Trust me, there is a better way to build dashboards, which we'll cover later. Actually, if we have time tonight, we might just do it tonight. And then let's take our second one, our scatter plot, and drag it just to the right of the bar. So not all the way on the right side, but just to the right of the bar, so it still shows up at the bottom, kind of like that. You guys got it?
I was a little bit squished.
It's okay if it doesn't look exactly like this. We're not going to spend too much time making it look pretty because it is meant to be ugly. As long as you have all 5 things on here, you're good to go. Okay, now, using what we learned at the beginning of the class, data ink ratio, chart jump, and white space. What are some things we hate about this current dashboard? There's a lot.
It's hard to do side by side on the top 3. You have to go for every data point.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to add overtime.
Yeah, we got overtime 3 different times here. What else do we have repeated a lot?
Month order date.
Month of order date. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, it's same thing. Month, order, date, and then sales. I feel like sales is just squished on the side.
Yeah. Yeah, we're repeating it 3 different times here, but then we also have sales on the axis 3 different times. We got sales again here, sales again there. We have our legend here, right? Furniture, office supplies, technology, which actually works, right? Because we don't have that anywhere else. I was getting ready to bash that, but that's actually a good use of data ink ratio because you could have it labeled here and here as well too. But that is one nice thing that Tableau really does is it uses the same colors no matter what across different charts. So we have our technology. So that actually is a good use. White space is awful. Everything's mushed together. There's some unused white space over here, which isn't doing anything. There's actually no title for like the dashboard itself, right? Just the title for the individual sheets. So you can't really tell if I pulled this up in a meeting. This is what I would have to do. I'd have to go one by one and say, okay, here's what our furniture sales are doing. You can't really even tell if it's going up or down because it's so smushed together, but it looks like maybe it's going up, maybe it's a little seasonal. Here's what's happening with our technology sales. Here's what's happening with our office supply sales. Now let's jump down and talk about categories for some reason for the first time. Once again, I'm showing sales. Are these, can you really tell which category is even the top one? Like these all look exactly the same unless I hover into each one of them. Now we're going to talk about profit for the first time, most profitable categories. So you'd have to go one by one. There's not really a comprehensive, you're building a dashboard, it should be all on the same dashboard for a reason, right? So there's no comprehensive story here. You can't easily pull out any insights here. I guess maybe a quick one that you can pull out is like, okay, these sales are all pretty similar, but like technology and office supplies, you get way more profit on them. Maybe some things like that. So we've learned how to make line charts, bar charts, and scatter plots. Now let's learn how to make them look really good. So I am going to, this is another Tableau quick trick. If you right click into any of your things across the bottom, there's this little color thing, and you can color your tabs. I have workbooks that have 100, 150 different tabs across the bottom. Coloring them is a really good way to keep them organized. So I'm going to color all the ones that we currently have here for red. Red equals bad, bad equals ugly in this instance. That way we can keep all these in here, not get rid of them, but we can very clearly tell the difference between our good ones and our bad ones. All right, now let's start by making this look pretty. So let's start a new worksheet.
I think the screen froze again.
Oh, thank you, bonus points. All right, start a new worksheet. First thing we're going to do, again, this is what we're building. The first thing we're going to do is redo our 3 different line charts into one. So it's going to start pretty similar. We're going to drag order date up to columns. We're going to right click and choose our second month here, month and year. And we're going to drag sales onto rows. So far, this is exactly the same. The first thing that we're going to do different, instead of filtering and having 3 different views, we're going to drag category onto color. So now we have all 3. We've already reduced into 1. And we are showing furniture, office supplies, and technology all at once. Now the next thing here is, can we really tell anything from this chart, or is it way too noisy? I personally think it's way too noisy. And are we trying, so this is where we get to play make-believe, right? Let's say that we're really trying to highlight what happened the most recent year. If we're trying to show the last 3 years here, it's probably a better view to do it. I can't tell anything from this. So let's bring order date into our filters as well too. This little pop-up will pop up. You'll recognize a lot of these different options, right? Years, quarters, months, days, weeks, month and year, month, day, year, individual dates. Let's just go ahead and click year and choose 2017.
Did you drag order date into filters too?
Yep, drag order date over. It'll pop up like this, and then just select years. And then from there, some people in the past have had different Superstore data that has different years in there. I'm not sure how, but if you have different years, it doesn't matter. Just choose the most recent one. And click OK. Now it's a little easier to understand. We definitely went up to the right from January to December. We grew our sales. It looks like we had some big months in technology, March and November. Maybe people are buying iPads for Christmas and iPads for April Fool's Days. I don't know. All right, let's rename this. What do I call it over here? 2017 sales by category. All right, now we're going to get into some of the different formatting options here. So the first thing is that we already say sales in our title. A well-titled chart can save you a ton of data inc ratio stuff. So we're first going to get rid of the sales on our axis here. To do that, just double-click anywhere into the axis. It'll pop up this. There's a ton of different options that we don't need to worry about. All we're going to do is down here where it says axis titles, it says sales, just delete that. Again, we just double clicked into the axis, deleted the title, and we're updated. Okay, let's move on to the next axis here. We already said that it was 2017, so we don't need that. And we already can see that these are months, January, February, March, April, May, so we don't need that. So let's get rid of that one as well too. To get rid of the x-axis, it's kind of annoying that they're different, but you right-click where it says month of order date, and just uncheck show header. All right, then the last couple things that we're going to do is we're going to add some axis, what are they called? Axis lines, I think. I don't personally like how the chart is just kind of floating in the nebulous right now. Yes?
Yeah, should we have some months on the bottom?
Oh, you're so right. What did I do wrong?
Oh, there it is.
Okay, I was wrong. You don't need to right click. I was totally wrong. Hand up, good catch. It is exactly the same. Double click into it and just get rid of month of order date there.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, whoops, sorry. Tableau has Command Z functionality or Control Z if you're used to do that to undo stuff, or this little back button here will allow you to undo. It's super good. It will allow you to go all the way back to the beginning of your workbook, just clicking back up here.
And then what do you do?
Once you have that, double click into your x-axis here and just get rid of this axis title. Yep, just like we did before. Sorry for the confusion. Don't put that down on my performance review you guys take.
One star.
Oops, I backspaced too far. Get rid of that as well. Okay, good call. Now we have our months right here. I don't like, this is maybe a preference thing, but I like when we have kind of clear lines showing where the axis starts and stops, and when the chart starts and stops, when it's all just kind of showing right there. I think it all kind of blends together. So what I like to do that just makes my charts a little crisper, if you right click anywhere in your view here and click format, it'll open up a new pane on the left here. Over the course of the next 4 weeks, we'll cover all these different options, kind of one by one. But I understand that I'm throwing a lot of different formatting stuff at you right now, and remembering when to click and double click and stuff is confusing. So we're just going to keep it simple. On the right here, where it says lines, it shows 3 different lines. Pretty actually well named. Anything that you want to do with lines. If you choose axis ruler, right here, and just go down and select black, the very top left got a black one right here. Boom, it pops up some really sharp axis rulers right here. And then you can't really see it on the screen, but you guys can probably see it on your computers. There's still these grid lines that are going across, which I don't think we really need.
Wait, no, the axis over. Nothing happened for me. What did you click on?
Did you just choose the black?
Yeah.
And these things didn't pop up. Let me see real quick. Give me 1 second. Oh yeah.
Oh, axis like that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get rid of the grid lines next. All right, so to get rid of these grid lines, I get, but it's not a super big deal. See how they are only going across the rows? There's none going up across the columns. To get rid of the rows, they go across this way. Click into rows, and then grid lines at the very top right there. Just choose none, and those should go away.
Should click rows?
Yep. Yeah.
So, over time, I guess you become familiar with what the defaults are. And then, I guess another level is to go in and modify what the defaults are.
Yep.
We're gonna cover that here?
Yep. All right, everyone have this so far? All right, 3/5 of the way done. We are good with our line chart. Let's go ahead and create a new sheet. And the next one that we're going to do is to update this ugly stacked bar that we have right here. So enter a new sheet.
We're frozen
We're
again.
still going to toss category up on our columns.
Hey, friend, we're frozen.
Thank you. I need to call into StreamYard support and figure out why this keeps happening, because it is annoying. But thank you. Please continue to let me know. All right. All I did was created a new sheet and then drag category into the columns here. Let's just actually replicate what we did the first time, and we'll change it. So drag sales onto the rows. I did this backwards, but that's okay. And then drag region onto the colors. So the first time I did it, category and region were flipped, but that's okay. We're going to change it anyways. So what I don't like, everything I'm saying tonight is like the overarching general rule of thumb. There are definitely use cases for a stack bar. There are definitely use cases for when you want multiple years shown on the chart. There's definitely use cases for when you want grid lines to be able to better like see where things exactly line up. So don't think that like these are always 100% what you should always do. But they are, we actually have, I think in a couple nights, maybe tomorrow or on Monday, I think we'll talk about pie charts. People love and hate pie charts, and I'm a big proponent of pie charts, so I'll get to give my spiel to you guys on when they're good to use. But stack bars, what I don't like using about them, what they do a good job of doing is showing, in this instance, for each category here, where the entire category stacks up, right? At the very top of the bar, you can see that technology is the highest, and then furniture, and then office supplies. Well, what I don't like is after that, the breakouts are really hard to gauge. For instance, I guess the first one's fine, right? Because it's at the bottom. You can see that the West technology and furniture and the West are about the same.
Especially if they're close.
And office supplies is a little lower. But after that, since this one's lower, everything else is off, right? So these red ones, just by looking at it, I think this one's the smallest, right? These two look about the same, but now this one's higher just because the West was higher and everything else kind of cascades up. So while we did use 2 dimensions, which is cool, let's make it show a little differently. And all we're going to do is drag region up on columns. So take it off color, drag it from where it's showing up in your marks tab here, and drag it up on colors, or columns, sorry.
I think you're frozen again.
Yeah, you're frozen, friend.
Okay, all I did was drag region off of color and up on the columns. Now, the order that these are placed in the columns, and again, we'll have times where we have 5 or 6 of them up here. Right now we have 2 dimensions, it's 2D, right? The order that they're in will dictate how it shows in your view. So categories first. So the first breakdown will be furniture, office supplies, and technology, right? These are the groupings first. And then the secondary breakdown will be by region. So by category, furniture, by region, central. By category, furniture, by region, east, so on and so forth. And then the next category, you then repeat the regions over again. The next category, you then repeat the regions over again. If you want to change that, all you do is just drag region in front of category. You'll get a little orange arrow that pops up when you're in front of it. You drop it there. And now you can see by region, we have central, east, south, and west by our different categories here.
What's the quick and dirty way to delete once I select region category? If I selected one more, it's kind of I have to go to the drop down and go remove it. Is there a quick and dirty way to?
There is, yeah. So like, let's say that we brought in subcategory up here, right? A third one. To get rid of this, all you'd have to do is just drag it off to the side.
Oh, okay.
Yep, you'll get a little X up there.
I know it's a stupid question, but that will save me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hours in the long run.
All right. Now again, we're going to make a comprehensive dashboard here, where everything will kind of tie together. What I do like about this is now you can very clearly see the differences between furniture, office supplies, and technology. Right, these are all super close. This one's super high across the different regions. Which ones kind of stand out the most? What I don't like is it's pretty hard to see what, like all the blue kind of blends together. It's tough to kind of tell which is furniture, which is office supplies. They repeat a ton, right? We also already know that we have the colors for our categories from this chart that we're going to bring together. So let's just bring category also onto color. Now, and again, we're thinking ahead into how we're going to build our dashboard. Now we'll be able to use just one key, right? They're the same colors across both. We very clearly show that we have central, east, south, and west, right? And we can get rid of each of these being repeated 4 different times. So this is what I meant to say on the last chart when I accidentally got rid of all our different months. If you want to get rid of the axis completely, which we do in this case, that's when you will right-click into it and uncheck that show header. Right? We don't need it because we have our color labels here, which is which. It'll be extra easy to understand because they will tie across everything. Let's go ahead and title this one appropriately. And let's call it top categories. And the reason I'm not giving anything else in there is central, east, south, and west are very clearly regions. So again, we can right click on the region and choose, this is actually a new option, hide field labels for columns. That gets rid of region. See, there are little nuances. I'm extremely positive about Tableau. I love it. But like having to double click to get rid of stuff sometimes, having to right click to get rid of stuff sometimes, and the right clicks are always different. The only way to really learn that is just get a ton of reps. So that's what we'll be doing in here. But again, if you missed that, undo, just right click into region and choose hide field labels for columns. And then we know how to get rid of our axis labels, right? We double click into there and delete out sales. Yeah, let's delete sales. But if we get rid of that, our title actually isn't as good as I thought it was. Right now, we're not sure what we're showing in here. So let's actually rename that and call it top sales categories.
How do you remove the legend on the bottom again? Did you double click the furniture, the categories on the bottom? The label?
Yep, right click and uncheck show header.
Okay. Don't we want to keep region because nothing points to center east, so what's the reason?
I got rid of it. I right clicked into it and unchecked or clicked on hide field labels for columns. My reasoning for doing that is that if you see the word central, east, southwest, you kind of know those are regions. Kind of like what we did with the month at the bottom here. You know these are months, so you don't really need a label for it, in my humble opinion. If it was something weirder that was maybe unique to us, like if I was working with builder trend data and I had like, trying to think of something specific, like we have different packages, 5 different packages of builder trend. We have essential, package, advanced, and complete. If I just showed essential, advanced, and complete, you guys would have no idea what I was talking about. So I'd need a label there that said packages, but I think regions are pretty universal here. All right, now we're going to get rid of those ugly grid lines again. So we're going to right click anywhere on here, choose format. Right, we're going to go over to lines, and we only care about the ones that are going across our different rows here. So we'll click into rows and choose grid lines none.
You're frozen again.
Oh, thank you. I apologize for that. I'm sure it's just as annoying for you guys as it is for me. Thank you. So again, to get rid of those grid lines, just right click, format, over here, lines, rows, grid lines, none. Okay, I think this is good for now. There's a couple more cleanup things, but I want to make sure we get through everything. So the last thing that we're going to redo is our scatter plot. So go ahead and start a new worksheet again. And if you need to get out of that format thing, just click the X in the top right here. Again, we're just going to bring sales onto our rows, profit onto our columns. And what did we do? Categories. category onto our color. This is actually backwards of what we did last time. So let's flip it around. But again, you can just drag this up, drag sales to columns, profits to rows, and it'll redo it the right way. All right, now we're just going to do a couple formatting things. This one's a little bit easier.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
He's still in errors.
All right, row. Can't go that way.
So I tried category for
No idea.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep. Okay. All we're going to do on this one, right click anywhere in here. We're going to go back to format. We're going to go to our handy dandy lines. We're going to go to sheet this time, because you can see we have grid lines going across our rows and columns. So we want to get rid of both. Sheet, grid lines, none. And then let's toss those nice little axis rulers back on too. So where it says axis rulers, just make those black. And then let's rename this.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, shoot.
Sorry, for some reason I'm not getting the same amount of numbers you have. And how were you able to get the two? Is that great? The two dots?
Yeah, you got 3 dots here. Make sure that when I first walked through it, I had sales here and profits here.
Okay.
So make sure that your sales is on your columns and profit is on your rows. And then all you need to do after that is drag
Category.
category
Okay. All right, that's what I missed. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Okay, and then I actually really liked the title I used on our ugly one, and Tableau won't let you have the same title for multiple tabs. So I'm going to rename this one dash ugly. You guys use the same thing. You might have to rename that one. If you rename it something else, that's fine. But I'm going to rename our pretty one most profitable categories.
How do I delete a sheet?
Just right click onto the sheet, just like you would to rename it. And there is a delete option actually right under rename. All right, believe it or not, I think we're gonna wrap up in 10 minutes here. We are really, really, really close. We have our 3 refresh, rebranded, pretty examples of a line, bar, and a scatter. All that's left is to bring them into a dashboard. So we're once again going to create a new dashboard, not a new sheet, a new dashboard. Again, by default, it gives you this ugly little minimum maximum thing. We're going to change that again from a range to a fixed size and from custom to a generic desktop to give us a little bit more room to work. Now, we don't have to drag 5 different things on here, which makes it a little easier. Let's just drag our line chart on to start. So we call that 2017 sales by category. It should be, if you did it in order, the third to last one. Drag that onto their start. Again, that one doesn't matter. You just drag and drop anywhere. Let's do the next one, top sales category. Just do that across the bottom. And then the last one, most profitable categories. Let's do that in the bottom right. So still on the bottom to the right side of our bar chart. Everyone have this? Good. Okay. We're going to do 2 more things here. We're going to take this category, right? This is important. This is what is essentially labeling our entire dashboard here, right? These colors dictate to everything else. So let's take this. What I like, so it's really important. So I want to make sure it's really prominent. I also hate all this wasted space underneath it, right? Our charts can't go all the way to the right because this is using up all that space. So if you click into category, right, just anywhere in this little label, you get this little tab thing again. You could drag around these labels just like we could a sheet. So let's just go ahead and drag that to the very top. Top of the top. So it should look something like this. And then we don't necessarily need 2 different rows here. So if we just squish it up, it'll automatically turn into a single row here. Yeah.
Could you take that and put it on top of one of the charts, like embed it?
That's such a good question. Okay, let's actually, let's just do that right now. So this is another like heated debate in the Tableau universe. There's actually 2 ways that you can build dashboards. What's called tiled, which is what we've been building so far, where everything snaps into a specific tile, right? Top, bottom, left, right. And there are better ways to do this, right? Down below here, there's different objects. You can create horizontal containers where everything spreads out evenly horizontally, vertical containers. So you can build your layout a little easier, but tiled, right? Everything snaps. The second is floating, right? So right here, you can see that we have right now tiled selected. We can change this to floating. Now anything that I drag on here will float. It doesn't snap, right? I'm going to get rid of this. So a lot of people, I think it's honestly more like a left brain, right brain thing. I'm very analytical. I like grids and snaps and left, right, up, bottom. I think if I was more creative, I would be better at like do the floating thing, and I want this here, and I want the pixels to be the perfect distance here, and things like that. I know a lot of people that build all their dashboards just floating things out there, making sure they line up. It's prettier, right? You can get some really cool curvatures and stuff. So feel free to do that. I'm going to be teaching in the tile just because I don't think I've ever used that. But one use case, which you just brought up, is a really good one, and I actually like it for this specific dashboard. We can make specific elements of this tiled and specific elements floating. So the question was, if you guys couldn't hear, this is still taking up space right here, right? Our line chart could go a little bit higher. Let's go ahead and just make this floating. So to do that, just click into it again anywhere. Here's our little tab, which is where we drug it around. There's also a little X and a little drop down. The X would obviously remove from the dashboard. The drop down gives us more options. In there, there's an option that says floating. If we click that, this now removes it from the grid, and we can drag this absolutely anywhere that we want. So maybe we'll put it up here in the top left. You could also maybe, if you wanted to, put it in the top right.
That's better. It's not competing with
the title there. Okay. Let's do that.
Can we lock the position for the floating?
Once you let go of it, it doesn't move.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. But that is another good use case to always doing a specific size as opposed to the custom ones. Because if you drag this in the top right, in the this automatic one here, sometimes when you publish to a smaller screen, it tries to fit that. The floating thing is then overlapping with some other stuff. It's not as evenly spaced. So that's why I always go with the fixed size. I'm using the generic desktop, but like if you guys wanted to make yours a little less wide, right, you can bring this in, and it'll still be a fixed size. If you want to make it a little taller, a little shorter, you can customize it. You don't have to go with just the out-of-the-box generic desktop. Anza, I just saw your Slack. What were you saying
And that
there?
could be something for later. It's just, I have this, and we can talk about it later after class. It's a category box, and it says all furniture in it with these check marks. And I don't know where it came from. I don't know how to remove it.
There's check marks in the box itself.
It's the Slack message. There's a picture in it. It'll make sense once you see the picture.
How many lunches other people might be seeing the same thing?
Everything else is like the exact same, but I just don't know where that came from.
Oh, okay. You can filter in there. That's fine. So you had, and this is probably just left over from one of the ugly ones that we did before. You had, let me show you what you have.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Yep. So all of this is just a filter.
Okay.
And since we were adding filters before and going back and forth between, it probably just got left over. All you have to do is just click X to get rid of that. We're not going to need it for this specific example.
Cool.
Yep. All right. Great question about the floating element. That's a really good use case. And I honestly don't think I would have covered it this entire course if you would have said something. So thank you. Okay, this is really close. I'm going to add one more thing, and then I'm going to turn it over to you guys to see if there's anything that you guys want to change about it. Another annoying thing about dashboards in Tableau is by default, it doesn't have a title, right? We have our titles for our different sheets, but sometimes I like to add in a title for the entire dashboard. In order to do that, it's pretty simple. At the top where it says dashboard, just click show title. I don't know why it's not turned on by default, but then from there, it's exactly like the sheet or right now. Yep, just up here, dashboard. Show title, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I think that sometimes you can change the defaults.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
So you can change the defaults a couple different ways. A lot of the things that I'm showing here, you can change the default. You can also add in like your own like branded color palettes, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So I don't use like the Tableau default red, orange, blue that we see here. I have the trend branded color tablets that like automatically populate. We will not actually cover that.
Okay, that's like administrator,
Yeah, I'll follow up after class with some links on how you guys can do that.
okay.
You should be able to do it in Tableau Public, I think. But I'll follow up with some links if you guys want to mess around with it. But yeah, I understand what you're saying now. All right, so title, we showed that. And then let's just change this to something super generic. Let's see, what are we showing here? We're showing sales a lot. We're showing categories a lot. Let's call it something like category sales deep dive. I don't know. That's probably not a great title. But what I like about that is like that's the first thing right in the top left. That's where our eyes are trained to go. It's the first thing you see. You understand that. Oops, I spelled the category wrong. You're going to understand that this entire dashboard is going to be about category and sales, whereas before we would have started with 2017 sales by category, and then we would have had to kind of look at each one. It might have been a little jarring. I don't know. I could be reaching a bit there, but I typically toss titles on my dashboards. All right, we'll take a break very shortly. Let's change just a couple things from you guys. What do you see on here? This is a fine dashboard. I'd give it a B+. What do you guys see on here that you don't like or think that maybe we should change? And I don't have any specific examples in mind, so we'll do whatever you guys want.
There's a lot of text. You know, we say like top sales categories, most profitable categories. There's probably a way to simplify that a little bit more. Fraction probably why. If you're presenting this, that's what the team wants to see.
Yeah, actually, that's the first thing my brain went to too. We kind of set the stage at the top that we're talking about categories and sales. So maybe we could do something like, let's think through this.
Maybe get rid of category, sales by category, get rid of by category. And then top sales category, just say top sales.
Yeah, I like that. So let's rename this one, what do you say, 2017 sales. Because we already know that they're categories, right? Maybe top sales categories could just be top categories. We already know that they're sales at this point. And then maybe this one could be maybe just profitability. I can spell that on the fly without embarrassing myself. Profitability. It's got to be close. Yeah, that does clean up a ton, actually. All right, one more suggestion, then we'll take a break. Okay, I got one. So this is something, line charts to me, this is such a nitpicky thing, but it's kind of cool functionality. I like showing you guys the options that are out there and that you can make it your own. I would definitely not say this is like a best practice or something you need to do. It's really just kind of a preference thing. To me, with line charts, when you have these big like jarring moves here, it's easy to see specifically where 1 month is at, and that we're looking at just March here. But these like lesser moves, it's tough to tell exactly where May is at and where June is at and things like that. So if we go back to this tab, 2017 sales, this sheet, if we click into color, just click it. Obviously, this is where we could go and edit our colors. If we wanted to make them like see-through, we could do that. But something I like to do is where it says markers. If you click the middle option, it's going to put a little dot on every point on your line chart. So for me, I just like the ability, again, this one we already like condensed a ton to make it a little easier to read. But this very clearly shows that this is like not continuous, right? We're not going March 1st, March 2nd, March 3rd, March 4th, March 5th, March 5th, all the way up to like April. Everything is grouped to March, then everything is grouped to April, and it gives
Hey,
a very.
I hate to interrupt, but I think you're frozen again.
Oh, okay. Cool. All I did was just click color, and where it says markers, use the second one here, and that will give you these little dots, which would always pop up when you hover. But this just very clearly shows that these are discrete months and not continuous individual days throughout the course of the month. And then if we're really splitting hairs, we'll do one more, and then we'll take a break. Let's right click into our axis label here. So like right click into May or something, and click format. This is a pretty similar view, but where it says dates, March 2001, if you click into that, it gives you some different date options. Again, this was just kind of dealer's choice, but I want to show that it exists. If we didn't have 2017 up here, maybe we'd want like the year included at the bottom here. Maybe we like showing it specific days, March 1st, 2017. What I like to do, which is a little cheat code, at the very bottom where it says custom, it has this format here, right? 4 small d's, comma, small d, a ton of m's. You don't really need to know any of that. You can basically customize whatever you want your date to look like. I always get rid of that and just type 3 smalls m's. M, month. Oh, frozen again. I don't know what's going on. I've never had it be this bad before. Normally it's once or twice, so I apologize. All I did was right click into my axis label here and click format. And then under dates, there's a ton of different options here, but if you scroll to the bottom, click custom, and then type in the format month, it will give you these abbreviated month. You can kind of see it, right? If I just had 1 M, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is probably fine. 2 M's, 01, 02, 03. 3 M's, January, February, March, April, May. 4 M's, it gives you the full thing. I'm not going to commit to learning the syntax of building out really complex customized strings of how many M's and Y's and D's and stuff I need. But anytime I'm showing on the site, customize and go MMM.
I'm just wondering real quick, are you able to center the title?
Yeah, I can. So, to center the title, that's another kind of heated debate in design, I feel like. If people like it left aligned or centered. I don't know if I have a preference. I don't know if I've ever formed an opinion on that. But if you want to change it, double click into your title where it says 2017 sales. And it'll pop up this little edit title thing. You can do a ton of stuff in this edit title thing actually. Like if you wanted to make your title bigger, like this is like a very easy text editor to deal with. So you should be able to get most of that. But if you highlight it, right, and just click the center button here, just like you would in Word or something, right, you can bold, underline, italicize, change your color. But to center it like that, then that would bring 2017 sales over. This is also, right, up until this point, the only titles we've had have just been the sheet name. You can add other stuff in here too if you wanted to add in. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll keep the big sheet name and then add like, this is a note to better help explain the dashboard. Right, and I'll make that like really small, italicize it, so then up in the title it pops up right there too. But yeah, good question. Okay, we're actually not going to take a break because we're done. So if you want to take a break, just go home or whatever. The homework for tonight. Oh, real quick before we get to that. I've forgotten to do this in the past. Everyone make sure to save what we have. This is really helpful for going back and like reviewing. Like obviously we publish our homework, but I think it's good to publish our examples too, so you can always download it. So just click save here. Oh, it makes me sign in. That's gonna be so annoying. Nope, it doesn't. And then just call it like night 2 example or something.
Well, your connection is probably timed out.
Probably.
That's what it says. It's an error message.
Anyways, I will just keep it up in Tableau Public. I'll come over to you in a second, Matt. The homework for tonight, once you've saved that. You do not actually have to find a new data set. If you like the one you found on Monday, feel free to keep using it. If you like exploring and want to try something different, feel free. Bring it into Tableau. Build at least one of the following charts. Line chart, bar chart, scatter plot. Ideally, build all 3. The reason I said at least one is sometimes some of the data sets that you guys find won't have like a date in there, so it'll be kind of hard to build a line chart, or maybe there's not multiple dimensions to build the bar chart that we built tonight or something. But it should have something to build at least one of them in there. Big call out here, make it look pretty. Data Inc. Chart jump, white space. We did not get to tooltips, which is fine. We'll talk about those later, but we did get to the dashboarding. So toss them in a dashboard if you build more than one. Even if you only build one line chart, like maybe build it a couple different ways and toss it into a dashboard. So let's put a dashboard. Publish to Tableau Public. Shoot Charlie a link to it in Slack. Cool. I will send out, I'll actually copy and paste this in Slack so you have it front and center, but obviously I'll send out the entire PowerPoint just like I did last time as well too. Any questions on the homework? Cool. If you guys want to stick around and knock it out right now, feel free. I will again be here until at least 9:30 if I need to be. But also it is Wednesday and we don't have class again until Monday. So if you want to get out of here tonight and use the extended time between classes, crank this out, I totally get that as well too. Monday, I always make sure that everyone kind of sticks around and knocks it out so you don't have to scramble on Tuesday. But since we have the week and everything, if you want to leave now, I will not hold it against you. But I will be here. If you're leaving, thank you very much. See you Monday. If you're sticking around, I'll keep this going for a bit.
Thank you, Charlie. We'll see you Monday. Appreciate you.
Yep, absolutely. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
I'm going to turn the lights back off so I don't fall asleep.
How do you put the dot on the line again?
Yeah, just click where it says color in that little square. And then where it says markers, this is the middle one. It just shows the little dots right
The only place it didn't make you.
there. There you go.
The only place it didn't go.
Matt, did you get that?
I did. It said it timed out and I need to sign in, but then it popped up.
Go ahead, did.
Yeah.
Do you mind helping me real quick?
Not only do I not mind, it would be an honor.
Do you want me to look it up?
Let me actually just go right.
So I know I already asked you. I don't know why, but I'm just having a hard time grasping the concept of getting the data from the other.
Yeah, scroll down on this one. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific one you want me
I can't think of any other table I'd be interested in right now. I'd probably just do the same thing, but I do for the sake of being able to get a new one and then transfer it.
Yeah, I think I think a really good place to start always, my favorite, at least scroll up all the way, and then click into learn, and go sample data. And then scroll all the way to the bottom here. My favorite place to go to when I'm looking for inspiration is where it says Take Over Monday. This I like for a couple of reasons. One is that these are all data sets that Tableau has picked, so you know that they're going to be pretty good. And they have like an appropriate amount of data, they have fields and stuff like that. And two, they've been doing it for like 9 years, pretty much every week. So there's a lot in here. So I would just kind of scroll through this and see if there's anything in there that's interesting to you.
Okay, yeah, I'll already.
Yeah, and then just double check me here. Click into one of these. Give me 1 second, but feel free to scroll around. See if you find anything you like. Okay, to use that Big River Monday, you have to create an account that is free. Oh, did you find one? Yeah, I found one. Okay. Oh yeah, and then the download just choose it.
But that's not on every chart, right? That download thing.
And this in status or whatever this website is. Here you can change that where it says business. You can put it into the top. Yeah. There you go. That way it won't. That's good for money or anything. I'm going to shoot another link for those in class. and online. I'm going to shoot another link in the Slack channel. This is a really good resource for finding data sets. You do have to create an account, but it's completely free. It's literally called Data World, so it has a ton of data in there.
The way I tried parking at the coffee shop, and even though there's a sign right in front of it, there's actually a sign to get parked there. And a lady, I was lucky enough that a lady parked right next to me, and she said, if you park here, one of us, one of us people are you're gonna get told for sure. So, yeah, I'm just telling you that
Yeah,
get
I
tempted.
parked right out here.
Right. Don't park at the coffee shop.
That's insane.
Which is really weird because the coffee shop put its sign right there.
Yeah.
And you see the sign a foot from you, you assume.
Right.
And on top of that, the number, their number, the sign, but the numbers are faded on the concrete. So unless you really look, especially if it's dark, you wouldn't know.
That's shady.
That is shady.
But really good to know.
You know, we talked last time and we
Yeah.
decided that it might be a good idea. And
No. Don't listen to Liz.
Is there a way to change numbers like that? So I tried to find some data,
Mhm.
and it's reading them as a categorical, but like it's basically should be reading it as numbers. So
Okay,
here I
super
have
easy.
years, and then
Yeah.
here I have numbers, and then these should be reading as numbers.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. So the top part here is that table has these columns here.
Yeah, I think these should be my column titles, and then
Yeah.
it's got other things.
I would. Is this data that you can mess around with?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
I just downloaded the Excel one. So
Oh
it
yeah.
should
Go
be-
ahead and open up the Excel. I have to do this sometimes too.
So that I was wondering about that. Do you have to sometime open Excel and then mess?
Yeah, I would just open Excel and then like delete those first couple rows. Then like drag everything up so those columns are actually columns. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then when you read that into Tableau, it should. I'll be like, oh yeah. So yeah, I would just get rid of this stuff. Yeah. Now, yeah, get rid of that stuff too.
Not as much data as I would have liked, but we can
It has
start
everything we
with
need.
that.
A couple dimensions, some years, so you can make a line chart. Yeah. Go back to Tableau. Go and just click that little refresh button right there.
It's a little slow, but it's not crashing.
Yeah.
So it's a progress. It's progress.
See, that's what they should have.
Well, can I take it off and then?
Oh, maybe that's the right thing to do too. Yes. Or I think you have to drag this off first. Now you should go. Close it. Close it. Cool. There we go.
Okay, that's better.
So is there any other website I could download from? Because it says I have to upgrade to download it.
Boo. Do Data World. It's literally just type in data.world. Is the name of it. This is the one. Honestly, in the past, I made everyone use this, and I feel like I should use it. Do sign in. Go.
Sorry.
You can try signing. Go. Search something. So there's a lot of different stuff. Let's make sure we just
So is there like a normal way to get data sets or is it different every time?
Yeah, a lot of your stuff. Oh yeah, a lot of your stuff. So let's double check here. We're in there.
Okay, that's a lot easier for tracking.
Yeah. It's tricky, right? It's really tough for me to do this without, like, right? Because when you're working, you would just be like using your company data, right? So there's not really like a good process for like finding data. Like people typically just use the Tableau like example data that's on their page, but I think all the stuff that they have in there is like pretty boring. So I want to make sure everyone has the like freedom to like find stuff that they're interested in. But that also opens up what we're dealing with right now is like there's no kind of standard process for
I
doing
have
that.
that problem with my students right now.
Yeah. So maybe Nate does pay me for curriculum development. Maybe I'll just like create some data sets. But again, I don't know. I like the flexibility of being able to find stuff that you care about. But apologies if we ran into some frustrations.
I restarted my search.
Oh, okay.
It's taking a bit of time. I did all the years. It's something I heard on the radio on my way here.
Oh, okay.
It talked about how the mathematics level on the gold standard, national gold standard, that were worse than before the pandemic started.
Oh,
And
interesting.
then the reading level
Yeah, that's.
is worse than like when it started recording.
Interesting.
There's sometimes that.
It's like so bad. And then it's like, oh, well, sure, let's try to see if we can find it.
I don't know why I had an issue with that.
Yeah. Because I need like banging in my head.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good weekend.
You too, thank you.
Yep.
Why is year not a number again?
It might be something that's pretty easy to change. Looks like it should be good. So let's do this.
Because so this amount should be a number, and then the year should be a number.
Well, do you want to like sum up by the years?
I want to do like
The reason is it has some of these have these little
okay.
things in there. But do you need it to be a number?
Well, I wanted showing chronological order. So again, these are out of order,
Oh, okay.
and then you can kind of see the number per year and how the numbers are changing.
Yeah, so
If
you
I-
should
if
be
I-
able to do just this. You want to see how the average scores are changing, right? So these here, I'm guessing that there's also. Okay, there we go. That would be good. And then the only ones that are out of order are the ones with the little thing there. You can actually drag those as well too. Oh, I bet these probably have some sort of footnote. There's
Because it's
multiple.
296 and then there's
Yeah.
2000.
So you could just do here over here and get rid of these ones with the footnotes attached to them. That's probably what I would do. Then that way they're all in order and never.
Yeah, we can get rid of this one probably.
Yes.
It's not.
Yep. Yeah, perfect. There we go. Looking good.
Like how much gets stuck like that? It's like it's almost constant.
Give it a couple seconds. Oh, really?
It's stuck on that second.
Oh,
I think
it's
it's saved it and I tried to override it, so I'm not sure. I don't.
Oh, it's not going to cancel it or
Oh, okay. Never mind.
okay.
Yeah, okay.
I would say, yeah, it's not normal there.
try that with a Google Drive. Throw my phone into Google
Oh,
Drive.
sweet, yeah.
And you'll take the Google Drive format then, the OPF or whatever they call it, the local.
Yeah, so you'll just have to connect it. Once it's in Google Drive, I can just show you real quick. Do like new data source. Connect to a server Google Drive. It will have you sign into Google. Oh, which just popped up on my other screen here. But you'll sign in, and then from there, it'll just, in here, you'll have your file structure. So you'll just be able to find it wherever it's at in Google Drive. It'll need to be like the Google's Excel, right? I think any spreadsheet format in Google Drive you should be able to pull in.
It shouldn't matter if it hasn't been exported, it's just taking it directly from Google.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. question, but it's not urgent.
I'm not doing it.
So as I refresh this spreadsheet, by refresh, I can replace it with another file and just leave it the same, or do I need to manually copy and paste the rows of data in order for it to pull that?
I think likely you want the file in the same location once you connect it to Tableau. So
I manually download it from my client's website. It's basically an export in Excel.
Yeah.
So next time I come around, I take the new file and save it in the same folder, delete the new one, make sure it's the same thing. But is it going to map if it's just to Tableau? I guess the connection is not dynamic in Tableau, so every time I throw a file in there, it's going to look at it as a new file, right?
yeah, so what I would do is probably just create like a sandbox file or something and connect Tableau to that so that you're not messing up with any of the actual exports. And then that sandbox file, you connect once, you don't have to worry about renaming it or anything like that. And then you can just copy and paste new data in it, take the data, copy new data in or whatever. Since it's still pulling from the same file, it'll all update automatically.
Okay.
So we did this like
not the other way around. The other way around would be I create a template in Tableau and whatever file I throw into it, I know that it's going to be new, but the other way around is I want to mess with Tableau, edit Tableau, but well, right, integrity, keep the same
keep the
structure.
So that way you can keep all your individual downloads kind of by themselves.
Okay.
And then the one that's connected to Tableau, you can just bring, like if you wanted to bring in, like if this is a certain date range and then you want to download again for another month, you just copy it at the bottom, another month, copy at the bottom, delete it, edit it or whatever, but as long as like it's still pulling just from one source there, you don't have to worry about renaming or.
And it will dynamically, so next time, so when I restart Tableau, it's going to pull the latest?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, super cool. And you can actually, if you wanted to, you can publish it to Tableau Public so that other people can see it too. And there's a little refresh button in Tableau Public too. So anytime that you update your Google Drive, it already has the connection to Google Drive and it'll just refresh. So other people can go in and get those too.
Saves so much because the property gets accounts from every part. And they've been asking, how do we get a report of what's going on?
Yeah.
Basically a dynamic report for them without them giving my logins because I can't get them to website that's a proprietary for me. I don't want them to know the source of the.
So the only thing you would need to do is manually download and then manually copy and paste into your Google Drive or anything.
Yeah,
and then
just
all your
refresh.
end users would it automatically refresh. You wouldn't have to do anything with Tableau once it's published.
Yeah. At least in the beginning, it's a manual refresh. There isn't a whole lot. It's the same roles. I just copy and paste the latest.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. As you start like building that out too, like I said, we won't get until like night 4. So if you start building it out this weekend or something, just come and alert up Monday and I can help you flesh out all the details and stuff too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's cool to have skin in the game.
Yeah.
No, it's public, but if I pull it, it's public, but if I pull it, nobody's gonna see the historical data, right? Or is that?
They'll just be able to see whatever is on your Tableau public view. So if you didn't want historical data, you'd want to either filter it out while you're building your views or instead of appending it to your file, just delete what's ever in there and put the new stuff in there. Does that make sense?
They're not gonna see the data source anyways, so
Right.
if I'm abstracting sales projections and sales reports.
Yeah, you can anonymize it
Yeah,
a little bit.
even though it's proprietary, I won't be exposing basically the personal information.
Yeah.
Do you recommend data interpreter to clean up
I never really use it. But yeah, just clean it up in the source data. But I know a lot of people use it. I honestly have never used it once in my life, so I wouldn't be able to help too much. Hey, Ronnie and Maria, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream and start packing stuff up here, but there's still a few of us in here and we'll be around, so just Slack me if you need anything and we can hop on a call.
Okay,
Thanks, guys.
sounds good. Thank you.